Hi there. Thanks so much for volunteering to serve as a live host at GCC. I know live hosting may seem simple on the surface because it's just announcements, right? But in reality, you as a host play a crucial role in helping guide people through our worship experiences. Because you're not just sharing information, you're actually helping people feel welcome and engaged and confident about what is happening in the service and also in the life of GCC as a church. So in this quick training, I just want to walk through a few simple standards that help all of our services feel smooth and engaging and distraction-free. All right, let's talk about your role as a live host. Because before we talk about mechanics, we need to talk about mindset. See, a great live host, you're not a performer. You're actually a guide. You're going to help people know what's happening. You're going to help people understand what action step to take. What do I do next? And you're going to help people stay connected to the worship experience. I want you to think of it kind of like welcoming somebody into your home, because you want them to feel comfortable, right? But you also want them to feel informed, like, where's the bathroom? I need to know where these things are. And you also want to make them feel included, a part of something at the same time. So the goal is not perfection in live hosting. In fact, it's warmth, it's clarity, it's confidence. When you step on the GCC stage, you help set the tone for the room as the live host. And that doesn't mean being over the top or overly energetic. It just means being warm, being engaged, being authentic. So here's a few simple tips as a live host. First of all, smile. Everybody loves a warm smile. Then make eye contact with the people who are in your audience. And speak like you're talking to just one person. You don't need to sound like you're just robotic or like you're reading a script. We don't want that. We want you to be authentic, because the best hosts sound natural. They sound conversational. It doesn't sound like it's a rehearsal. The confidence that people feel from you as a live host almost always comes from preparation. So before every time you take the stage, I want you to make sure you have read through your script. I want you to make sure you understand the purpose behind each announcement that you are making. And I want you to practice saying things like names and dates and details out loud. Look, you don't need to memorize every single word, but you should know the key ideas so that you're not reading off of a phone or a piece of paper. We will almost always have the slides on the back behind you so that you can point to key details if you need to. Notes are helpful as a backup, but they shouldn't be a part of your main delivery. Another key to great live hosting is understanding exactly where your place is at in the service. So before you step on stage, you need to make sure you know what happened right before you. You need to know what you're about to say first, and you need to know what happens immediately after you finish. That way, great things like handoffs can occur in our service. Our worship team currently uses Planning Center Online to be able to document those things. And we will make sure that you have a copy of the service ahead of time to know exactly where you are at in the service. These awareness ideas make transitions feel very smooth and very intentional. When a live host knows the flow of the service, the whole experience feels a lot more polished. Now, there are a few simple technical things that help avoid distraction. First off, know which microphone that you're using. If it's a handheld mic, we want you to hold it close to your mouth. We want you to keep it really steady and avoid swinging it around everywhere. Secondly, know exactly where you're standing. Our production team sets up lighting and cameras for specific positions, so stand where you've been directed. And finally, know where you are entering and exiting the stage so that transitions stay smooth. Look, small details like this make a really big difference. When you are making announcements as a live host, clarity is everything. Here's a few helpful tips. Speak a little bit slower than a normal conversation. Pause between your thoughts. Keep your announcements focused, but keep them concise. And when possible, explain exactly why something matters, not just what it is. For example, instead of just saying, sign up for the event, help people understand why that event is so meaningful or helpful. Tell a story through your announcements. Clarity helps people engage. From time to time, you as a live host may be asked to help guide other moments in the worship service, like prayer or offering or communion. You may be asked to dismiss people for the day, or you may be asked to transition into another time of worship. And so when you are leading these moments, remember, it's your job to control what's happening in the room. That means you need to slow down. You need to speak calmly, give very clear instructions, and allow some space for the worship moment. These parts of the service never need to feel rushed. Last of all, preparation for your announcement time matters. Please do the following. Arrive on time. Attend any service run-through if you're scheduled for it. Be ready in position a few minutes before you are needed. When you do these things, this helps our entire team stay relaxed and stay confident. I know this seems like a lot, but I'll tell you this, live hosting is actually a simple role, but it has an enormous impact. When you live host well, it helps people to feel welcomed, it helps them to feel informed, and it helps them to be ready to engage with whatever God is calling them to do. So thank you so much for serving in this role and helping to create a great experience for everyone who walks through the doors of GCC. I'm grateful for you, our staff is grateful for you, and our church appreciates what you do.